Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. Coming up, French film icon Gérard Depardieu, who once described the Me Too movement as a reign of terror, now finds himself added to the national list of sex offenders after being found guilty of sexual assault. Also, as the Trump administration wages war on DEI, the consequences are not just limited to the US. I'll be talking shortly to Tynesha McHarris from the Black Feminist Fund, which supports black women's programs worldwide, on how funders are now facing intimidation from Washington. And the hotel in Sri Lanka, which employs only women, and the impact it's also having on the local tourism industry as the South Asian country recovers from an economic crisis. But first, a court in Paris has convicted French actor Gerard Depardieu of sexual assault and given him an 18-month suspended sentence. The actor is perhaps the most well-known figure to stand trial for crimes of a sexual nature in the wake of a volley of accusations that made up France's Me Too movement in the film industry. Olivia Salazar-Winspear tells us more.
A milestone for French cinema and its reckoning with systemic sexual abuse as a giant of the film industry falls from grace. Gerard Depardieu has been handed a suspended jail term of 18 months for groping a set designer and assistant director on a film set in 2021. He's the most high-profile star to be convicted of sexual assault following the wave of accusations sparked during France's Me Too movement. Depardieu will now feature on a list of sex offenders and has to pay each victim around 15,000 euros.
I'm quite emotional, but satisfied with this decision. Very happy, quite proud actually. I'd say proud, and I hope this gives hope to other women awaiting their day in court.
The 76-year-old actor, who wasn't present during sentencing, has denied the sexual assaults in both cases, only admitting to a few vulgar remarks and to grabbing the hips of one of the women during filming. His lawyer called the victims liars and loudly interrupted the court dozens of times, calling the plaintiffs' two female lawyers stupid and hysterical. In a judicial first, the judge ordered a fine of 1,000 euros for each woman for these insults, saying they constituted a second instance of victimization.
He's of course going to appeal the decision. As soon as you're implicated in a sexual assault case these days, you're automatically convicted.
Over 20 women have accused Depardieu of sexual misconduct spanning decades. He could soon appear in a separate trial over the alleged rape of actor Charlotte Arnoux. The sentencing coincided with the first day of the Cannes Film Festival, the same event where Depardieu won Best Actor 35 years ago, and where his case has prompted plenty of commentary and reflection.
When you are desecrated, as he is being now, well, it makes you think about the power that certain people have.
Women's bodies are not a buffet that people can serve themselves to while they're working. I think young women should be able to work in safety.
The actor has also received public support from a number of high-profile individuals in the past, including the French president, who in 2023 called the accusations a manhunt.
The dramatic cuts to foreign aid, especially with the dismantling of US AID by the Trump administration, is having a catastrophic impact on women's organisations. A new survey by UN Women shows half of those organisations aiding women in crises may shut down in 6 months due to global aid cuts. The UN body revealing that 90% of women's organisations in 44 countries are being pushed to a breaking point. And all of this occurring as the Trump administration is also targeting DEI, that, of course, being diversity, equity and inclusion. So what happens when your organisation's sole purpose is to fund black feminists? The Black Feminist Fund was established to do just that in 2021, supporting those working in the field of black women's rights worldwide. This as black feminist organisations receive less than 1% of foundation funding, and with Washington placing pressure on those philanthropists who support racial and gender justice, more than half of them now don't have money available for next year's work. Joining me now from Atlanta in the US is Tynesha McHarris, the co-founder of the Black Feminist Fund. Tynesha, thank you so much for your time. Firstly, just tell me, what exactly does the Black Feminist Fund do?
We started the Black Feminist Fund really in our imaginations and in our dreams about 12 years ago. We were at a kitchen table, like most important conversations happen, with women gathering, talking about the good things, but also talking about the things that are hard. And instead of having a moment where we decided to just fall into despair, we decided we wanted to do something about it. So at that very kitchen table, we dreamt up this vision, this vehicle that would fund Black feminist movements like we believe that we, like they, can win, and that we would remove the steepest barrier to us doing our work in the most powerful ways, which was money. And so in 2021, that dream became a reality and we started the fund. And today we are the only global vehicle moving resources to Black women and gender expansive people around the world. And we are funding over 70 organizations in 44 different countries, whether that's organizations like the Kenyan Peasants League that is organizing to support women farmers and understand the relationship between women's rights, between land ownership and ending violence. We're supporting narrative and cultural work like in the Ivory Coast. Folks are organizing and speaking and connecting women and Black feminists through radio shows. We're supporting work to end violence against trans communities. We're supporting work that is investing right now in girls and young women's leadership in places like Somalia. There is incredible examples around the world of powerful activism. And we're just excited that we are able to be in community with them.
But recently, as your colleague Hakima Habas wrote in The Guardian, the Trump administration is working overtime to intimidate funders from supporting racial and gender justice. How is this impacting your organisation?
You know, here's what I will start with. We are ready for this moment. We were born for this moment. What we know is that unfortunately, this administration and global anti-rights movements know that Black feminists are their biggest threat. We have seen throughout history, throughout time, regardless of the issue, whether it's protecting the planet around climate justice issues, whether it's advancing disability justice around the world, advancing all kinds of economic rights, you pick the issue, Black feminist leaderships are center and core. And so if I don't want the progress to happen or those rights to happen, I'd come after Black feminists first. The good thing is Black feminists are the most powerful, brilliant, I think, genius leaders around the world, so we are ready. And so we've seen a few ways that they have been targeting Black feminist movements even before the administration started in office. We saw it with the Fearless Fund and the attacks on affirmative action in this country. They're going after our infrastructure, movement infrastructures, philanthropic funding, because they are trying to starve our movements. But we can't let them win, which is why the Black Feminist Fund has just announced our new call to commit $16 million to Black feminist movements around the world.
So, Tynesha, how do you convince funders to stand firm in such a toxic environment, especially not to just sit there in silence or, in fact, turn their backs?
I'll say it in three ways. One is we're in a moment where a lot of folks, at least in conversations I'm in, that's talking about what we call anticipatory compliance. Folks are immediately complying to a set of what they think are laws and rules that actually, in some cases, either aren't real, or as Martin Luther King Jr. said in the US, that any law that's unjust, we have a moral responsibility to disobey it. And so the first thing we say is, if it is morally unjust, we demand that it is our moral obligation as leaders in this moment, as ethical leaders in this moment, to not comply. The second I will say is we will not win against what we're up against, this authoritarian regime, I will say this fascist regime, this very global attack on all the racial, gender, and economic justice wins that they are so afraid of because we have been winning. We will not continue to win if we decide to retreat right now. So I encourage folks to hold the line with us. And then the third I say, which is the thing that I actually feel strongest about, is if we really believed in movements, if we really believed in the racial and gender and economic justice values as a funder that folks had said, especially over the last several years, but especially in 2020, if we really believed it, then we do not retreat during moments of fear or intimidation.
Tynesha McHarris, it's been great speaking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
To Sri Lanka now, where men hold up to 90% of jobs in the hotel sector. Yet one hotel establishment is seeking to break down gender barriers by being staffed exclusively by women. Not only is it a way to unlock women's potential, but it also helps the tourism industry in a nation recovering from an economic crisis, as Jennifer Ben-Brahim reports.
Breakfast we had 7, lunch we have 4.
The morning meeting at the Ambayalu resort in Sri Lanka. You might notice something unique about this team. It's exclusively made up of women. Highly unusual in a country where men hold up to 90% of hospitality jobs.
We already have single mothers and mothers who are having about 2 or 3 kids, and they have passed that time and joined, and now they are having continuing with their career.
The hotel, nestled in the green hills near Lake Kandalama, is a first of its kind in Sri Lanka. A chance to showcase what women can do if given a chance. This team of 75 women handle every task, including those traditionally seen as for men. From security guards to maintenance staff.
In general, it's mostly men working in engineering in Sri Lanka. Many people think that it's difficult for women to handle engineering work, especially maintenance tasks. But from the day we joined the hotel, we were given good training. We can also carry out these tasks just like the men, without any problems.
Sri Lankan women have tended to stay away from the hospitality industry due to lack of training, as well as a culture where they're seen first and foremost as mothers. The Ambayalu Hotel is not only helping to unlock women's potential, but is the latest effort to drive the tourism economy in debt-stricken Sri Lanka.
And that's it for this edition, so until our next show, bye for now.